OrthoTape.com, we're going to show you a quick application of a short leg cast. We're going to show you our new red stockinette. Here I'm using the 3-inch stockinette because obviously we're using it on a female adult, and she's a little bit thinner. So we're going to use the 3-inch stockinette, which works a lot better. If you're a male adult, you might use the 4-inch, but some will use the 3-inch so that we have it closer at the front part with the toes. So we'll go ahead and slide this on. You slide it up just to about underneath the knee there, because you're going to overlap it down anyway. We'll get the foot at sort of a 90-degree angle. What we're going to do is probably either, you can lap this up over here, or you can cut that piece. That way you don't have a lot of problem during the 6 weeks that they're in it, or 4 weeks. They don't have a lot of problem with rubbing in this area. But I'm going to just fold it up here, just so that it's nice and perfect at that spot, and trim off a little bit of this down here, so that way when we go to fold it back, it fits perfect. So I'm going to start with, again, we have the 4-inch OrthoTape padding, and then we have the 3-inch OrthoTape padding. You can use either one. Our kits come with 2 rolls of 4, 2 rolls of 3. But like I said, sometimes that's extra, so if you want to use it to make it thicker, that's fine. If you don't, then you can use less. So we'll start off with the 3-inch. And the great thing about the OrthoTape is, when we ship it, at least it has this roll on it. It doesn't come unrolled in the shipping process, so it helps keep it, all together. It's a nice way to keep it keep it looking good. So again, you're going to roll over about halfway each time. You can pull it tighter if you want to. If you pull it too tight, you see how it thins up. So you don't want it to be too tight. We're just overlapping a little bit at a time. Trying not to have any bunching. Get about halfway, because we're going to use the 4-inch pretty much up here, so I'm going to come back down with this 3-inch. And you just follow the contours of the body with it. It doesn't matter if you accidentally overlap it a different way or not. I'm going to take the 4-inch now, and you can start at the top with the 4-inch if you like. You can go to however high you want it. We're going to start right about here, right at the bottom of the kneecap part. I'm going to do extra rolls up at the top because we're going to fold that down so you have a nice padding at the top. But you want to make sure you don't have too many little speed bumps, or you're going to have a bumpy cast. So you want to make sure you get that nice and smooth. You can also smooth it out whenever you're applying the casting tape as well. Like I said, the 4-inch and the 3-inch is sort of interchangeable. Obviously, we're even going further down with the 4-inch here. And again, you want it nice and thick at the front part as well, because obviously that's where they touch the cast a lot. We're going to go ahead and put a second roll of the 3-inch on. Do a couple extra at the front. It's nice and thick there, so you don't have any problems. It all depends on how far out you want to put the cast. You can always check it, pull this back, see where you're at with it. You can get the heel really good. Usually the heel and the ankle areas are where you have a lot of rubbing, so you want to make sure you get it nice and tight in that area. And we're going to go ahead and use that final roll, but you could stop there if you wanted to, if you didn't want it thick enough. We're going to use that second roll of 4-inch and go ahead and finish this up. So here's where you get it nice and smooth, overlap about halfway each time. Get that back heel area really good. If you didn't want the rest of it, you could tear it off right here if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. You don't have to use all that you have. You can do that even with the casting tape. If you wanted to, you only use part of it, then cut the end part off. You don't have to finish it completely. Most people don't like to waste any, but if you're working on something, you don't want to have too much, and then just make a mess of it. So now we put on our gloves. Again, we said we got new gloves. They're a lot thicker, so they don't break so easy. So they're a nice nitrile glove. We have the 2 rolls of the 4-inch. 2 rolls of 4-inch, and we're going to do purple with this red. And I'm going to have 2 rolls of the 3-inch. That's what comes with the cast kit for the short leg cast. You get 2 rolls of 4-inch, 2 rolls of 3-inch, and the same with the padding, 2 rolls of 4-inch, 2 rolls of 3-inch. With the stockinette, you have the choice of either 4-inch or 3-inch. You can choose that, obviously depending on the person. And then obviously we have 5 different colors now, so you can check out all the new colors online at orthotape.com. I'm going to start at the bottom here with the 3-inch. Again, like I said, you can open it up. If you wanted to, you could just pour water in here. You could also do the dry method. Do the dry method, basically you're just taking it out and you're just applying it, and then you'll just spray it with water after. So here's the dry method. It's easy to work with, actually. It's a lot better. A lot of people like it because you don't end up with the fingerprints on the cast. Just make sure you get it nice over the heel area. And the best thing to do is you just start with the first layer. You put it on nice and smooth. Try not to pull it too tight or you end up with little speed bumps as you go up. But if you get that first layer set in, and if you're in a humid room, you don't really even need to add any water to it because the humidity actually will start to help set it since it's been opened. So this again is the dry method with the first roll. I didn't dip it in any water. So you can take a spray bottle after. You see how nice and smooth that comes out. And again, you see how different this tape is. It comes off real nice and easy. It's not sticky. It's perfectly wrapped. And again, if you have any issues with it, we offer 100% money back guarantee on it. Just send us a photo of the problem that you had with it. If it was hard or something like that in the roll, just snap a photo of it, send it to us, and we'll either replace it or refund you the money. Since I don't have a spray bottle, what I'm going to do is just get my gloves wet and just do that with the gloves. Get a little bit wet here, help it seal. So this is whenever you would set the angle of the foot. You can hold it there, let it set up. The best thing to do is get that first layer on and let it cure. Once you get that first layer on, you set that ankle. That's how you prevent a lot of movement, because usually if you go on to the next part without setting it all up, you end up with a bend or something in the foot, or you end up with a funny looking big dip in it or something like that. So just let that set up. Wait maybe a minute or two till it starts to get solidified. Take a little bit of water, rub it on there. It helps smooth it out. And again, we're just using the dry method on the first layer. All we're doing is applying water with the glove after and letting it get set up. You can do it that way, or you can dip it in water and squeeze it out. Whichever method you prefer. I've talked with a lot of people. They like using that dry method because it just makes it such a smoother cast. You don't end up with a lot of the fingerprints that you tend to get because it's all wet. This little contraption I have here, I actually got that at Lowe's. Basically used for, you put boards on it. You can do painting, stuff like that, but it actually works pretty good as a cast stand. And this little rolling chair is just one of those mechanic chairs. Basically, it's easy to slide around and get positioned when you're applying the cast. So you want to check the heel area, make sure it's nice and smooth there. It's flat, flush, so it's starting to set up a little bit, so that's good. We're gonna, be able to apply that next layer. Again, like I said, it's better to wait, let it get all set up first, and then, start to apply the next couple layers to it. So we'll just go ahead and wait it out a little bit. And that's the best way to keep it from, because now once it's solid and that first layer is on, now you can wrap it a lot tighter, get that nice tight cast to it. I'm gonna take the 4-inch next. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip this one in water just to show you the difference. We'll go ahead and dip it in, but you see give it a couple squeezes. Again, I'm using cold water or just regular room temperature water. You know, let that water soak out, shake it off a little bit. You know, the difference in the wet method and the dry method, the wet method, obviously you've got a lot of dripping. You know, so again, you've got cotton, so if you don't want the cotton to get so super wet, the best thing to do is just go ahead and do the dry method and then apply you know, water to it or use a spray bottle. So we're going to start here at the top, come back up, and I'm just going to go ahead and layer this all in. See how smooth it comes off? It's a lot easier. I mean, it's not too super slippy that you still have lots of control over, but it doesn't stick like the old version did. You see how nice that comes off? It's perfect. And it lays perfect. Keep that bottom back in there. Nice and perfect. So you might hold the foot here. Now, like I was saying, like let's just say all of a sudden you decided that you needed to, you know, cut this piece here. You can go ahead and cut it, you know, and just do away with it. If you know, let's just say you needed to make some adjustment real quick, just cut that off. You know, that way you can hold it up there. You know, you don't have to finish the whole roll. You know, but a lot of people don't like the waste, so you know, I understand you want to take it to the end, but sometimes you might need to just go ahead and cut it because you need to, you know, stop for a second, fix something, you know, while you're trying to set it up. So I'm going to go ahead and hold that on there just to keep that ankle, you know, in that right position, because you see it's starting to bend a little bit in the back there if the patient has movement. So it's easier just to go ahead and hold that there until it gets set up. It gets tough whenever you're sitting there and we're trying to hold it. So the ankle's setting pretty good. You can feel it already. You know, again, you want to make sure you reinforce the foot area, the heel area, because that's where you get a lot of, you know, weight, you know, if you step on it or whatever. So you're going to end up with cracking if you don't really reinforce that area. You want to make sure you get it, you know, a good bit of water in there too, so that way those layers bind together. Again, like I said, the common problem with cast cracking is because you just don't have enough layers on the bottom there. If you only put one layer of fiberglass or two layers, you know, it's going to end up cracking, and then you're going to have a problem with the cast. You want to make sure you reinforce, especially the area that sometimes they might accidentally put weight on, or they, you know, just sitting there and, you know, on the floor, it has a little bit of pressure on it. Eventually, over time, this is going to soften up and crack. So if you get it nice and solid, you get a nice, good bit around it, you won't have that problem. So now we see that it's setting up good, so that's good. So that way we don't get any bends in the foot, because if you're trying to hold it there for a little bit of time, you end up with some bends in it and curves in it that you don't want. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold this back here, and then we're going to fold the top part down. And like I said, if you have lots of padding up in here, you're going to have a nice little, you know, spot. That way that the cast tape doesn't come in contact with the skin here as well as here, because you can tend to get a little bit of rubbing, you know, in that location as well. So go ahead and put on the 3-inch. I'll go again and do the dry method. I actually like it. It works pretty good. So get the perfect line up here, especially if you want to show off the stockinette, you know, give it a little bit more space there so that people can see the cool color of the stockinette. And just wrap it around nice. And, you know, see how we missed a little bit on the bottom here, so we want to make sure we come back around and get that area. I'm going to take it up about halfway now. I'm going to come back down. I'm pulling it a little bit tight, not too tight. If you pull it too tight, you might start stretching it and then it can tear, especially before it has set up. The fabric can start to tear a little bit. Now see how you curve around? If you pull this here, you can curve it. And that helps, again, to get in the areas that you need to get to. Again, you want to reinforce that bottom nice and good, especially on the front parts here. And especially on the heel. You see how it conforms nicely? Goes down over both sides. If you pull it a little bit tighter, you get that nice flatness, even though you haven't, you know, a heel there that it's hard to get around. And you just lay it down. See how it lays down nice? Put a little bit of water on that. Like I said, if you have a spray bottle, you spray it. Don't you just dip your gloves in water and it'll start to solidify as well. Doing this helps, you know, smooth out any of the rough spots in it. It gives it a nice smooth cast. That final roll that we're going to put on is going to be the perfect roll, you know, so if you have any spots that look, you know, that didn't, you know, set up perfect or whatever, that's the final layer that we're going to do. Sometimes you can even change your gloves for that final layer, that way you don't have a lot of fingerprint on it, because you'll start to get sticky over time. So if you switch the gloves out for that final layer, you'll have that nice perfect finished cast. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and switch on the gloves. It's hard to get them on if your hands are a little wet. Like I said, these are the newer gloves, so they don't break as fast. I hated those old ones that were too thin. So we spent a little bit more money to get better gloves for the cast kits. The waterproof cast kits, we don't include the gloves in, so you want to make sure you order them, or if you order individually, you don't use the cast kit. Make sure that you go ahead and you know, order some gloves, because you don't want to get this on your fingers. If you get it on your fingers, you just use acetone. That'll help remove it nice and easy. So you see that cast is setting up real nice. It's perfect. It's ready to have that final layer put on it. I'm going to go ahead and dip it, that final layer, in water, just to give an even coating to it. Go ahead and put it in the water here. Like I said, you could finish there on the third roll if you didn't want to use you know, a thicker amount. You know, it really depends, you know, how long the cast is going to be on, whether how thick you want it. If the cast is going to be on a long time, you know, of course we don't recommend that. It's good to always have a cast change at least in between, especially if you're, you know, going 4 weeks with it. And just pull the final layer nice and tight. You overlap perfectly. One way to avoid the fingerprints again is by, you know, having wet gloves. See how we're getting that final layer on there? It's going to make that perfect. You know, we don't have a two-tone cast if maybe, you know, you didn't add enough water to the third layer. And sometimes that changes the, you know, the color of it as well. So, again, reinforcing the bottom here. Making sure you didn't miss any areas. Since I can't make that easy turn there, I'm just going to go ahead up through here first, and then I'm going to try to wrap it back around that bottom piece by stretching that out here. Notice how I did that. I pulled it here so that we had a nice finish. You know, and let's just say, you know, you're ready to finish it off now. You want to maybe hide this piece behind the cast. You know, that way you don't have to see it. You can cut it off, you know, right there. And then that way it's behind the cast, you know, and you don't see that finished end there. So again, like I said, you don't have to go the whole way to the end. Some people don't like to waste it, but then, you know, sometimes you want to finish it in the right spot to have that nice good look to it. So there's more water up in here. You have to wait till it completely dries for it to be perfectly, all the same color. Over time, a day or two, it'll all blend back into the same color. Take a little bit of water again. Finalize that. Get it all nice. Layers bind real good. There you have it. Perfect cast. So we've got this purple OrthoTape along with the red stockinette. Gives it a perfect good color combination. If you get a chance, check out our cast 2s as well. You can put decals on the cast 2. You get a chance also to check out our color crutches. We have 5 or 6 different color crutches that you can have as well. So there you have it. Thanks. Again, you want to reinforce that bottom nice and good, especially on the front parts here.